Before my diagnosis, I used to be super active. I used to be 120 kgs and I lost 50 of them by running, lifting weights, exploring Auckland with my family, and taking photographs everywhere we went. And that kind of all stopped once I got my illness. I had been sick for a very long time before I got my diagnosis. An interesting thing is my mom has MS, so I have seen someone fight MS all the way through growing up. Because I knew something was wrong, it was relieving and a welcome diagnosis, but it was also very crushing at the same time. The first day I can really pin for an MS flare was back in 2019. My husband was leaving the house, saying goodbye, saying he loved me, and I remember saying to him, my stomach hurts, and then he put his jacket on and he was about to leave. So I did what any good wife does. I went to get out of bed and I just couldn't. I screamed. It was terrifying. From overnight, I'd gone from running, lifting weights, to pretty much being able to do nothing. So 5 years later, when I got my diagnosis, I did cry when I left the office, but I got back in the car and I knew it was going to be okay because I'd seen my mum survive through it. When I got home and I knocked on the door, I couldn't help but cry again and tell my mum I had MS, and it's the first time I've ever seen my mum cry with MS. But as a family, we build ourselves back up, and they've been a great support, my mum and my husband and family, helping me get through this. I'm a jack of all trades. At 18, I became a hairdresser and I passed that course with excellence, and then I went on to become an optical assistant, and my grand scheme was to become a dispensing optician, buy my own shop and work quite happily in optics. And then I got sick. And I got more sick, and I realized that I was giving my life to something that was taking all of my energy, and it was leaving me to come home at the end of the day. And I was great with the clients, but when it came to my own family, I was depleted, I was gone. And I just realized that I needed to find something that I felt really passionate about, and that when I'm tired, I didn't have to be 1,000,000% for the public, and that I would feel good about what I was doing in my job. My family has been a great support. They've believed me every step of the way, even when I've had self-doubt. We've got such internal ableism that you tell yourself you're doing better than you are, but my family has been there the whole time. The first person to ever give me a mobility aid was my Londoner mother, who came out and gave me a walking stick and said, "You're really not up to going out today without this." And that was kind of my first wake-up call to really fight for a diagnosis. My husband has been with me every step of the way. He's picked me up off the floor way too many times, and my children are like my guiding light. They keep me going. Those little ginger curls and smiles, I couldn't be without them. My oldest thinks my walker is awesome and he wants one when he's older, and my youngest is like my shield. When I was really, really sick and I was using a mobility scooter, just one you borrow from a store, this woman started looking and tutting at me, and he marched straight up to her and he said, "My mummy is sick and not old, and that is why she's allowed to use that." And I'm so proud of them, and I'm so proud of the way that they deal with mine and my mom's disability. They'll sit on the sofa with us, they'll tell us it's okay and ask what we need, and they've just been amazing.
We suddenly found ourselves having to reprioritize everything. I didn't anticipate the difficulty that we would have going back again and again, trying to get a diagnosis, trying to find out what was wrong. We can't just stop here. We need another avenue until we find it. And,
I wouldn't have my MS diagnosis without you, because you fought for me through that. I had given up. I got told, "Yeah, we found some spots in your MRI, but it happens. Some people just have spots." And that was the end of the chapter for me. It was going to be, okay, I just have these holes in my brain. And it was Mike that came forward and fought for me. I do feel like 5 years of my life were stolen from me. I feel like I wasted the first 5 years of my younger son's life because I was sick, because I couldn't walk, because we didn't know what was going on. But I have my diagnosis now, I have my support team, I have MS Auckland, and I found a community. I first went to a local MS group on a Saturday. it was amazing. There was a community of people who I could ask questions to. MS Auckland themselves have been amazing. They can do referrals to all kinds of help and support teams, and it's something I've had to learn to use. They've got seminars, they've got webinars, and in-group meetings, so people you see in person, and it's just been amazing. It's life-changing, but it's not life-ending. MS can be dark, MS can be lonely and isolating, but it doesn't have to be. You can reach out to MS Auckland and find your community. You find people that are like-minded, that understand what you're going through. You find new hobbies that you can work with and still enjoy your life. MS is scary, but you just have to keep going, and you can't give up, because I think giving up would be a worse diagnosis than MS it is itself. I'm going to be an IT wizard. I'm going to pick my camera back up. I'm going to go out and explore, me and my family. Now we know what's going on. It's not scary when you're out in the world and you start to feel pins and needles in your hands, or your leg starts to disconnect from your brain. Like, you just go with it. Now that I know what's happening, it doesn't matter. I just keep going through. I'm going to finish my college. I'm going to finish and get a job in IT, fingers crossed, and just keep going with life.
Through this, Harry's shown a resilience and a strength that I've never seen in anyone. So I'm proud to be here as a support and as a husband.
MS and any other disability doesn't pick. I didn't want MS. I didn't choose MS. When you see someone in public and they drop something, just be mindful. You don't know what's going on the inside. Don't judge people. If you see someone who looks young and they're using a walking stick or a walking aid, just be kind to one another. MS doesn't discriminate, and it could happen to anyone, even you.